Hello, my name's Lynn Ferguson and I'm wardrobe manager for Black Swan State Theatre Company. I started to work for Black Swan when the company became the State Theatre Company. The first production I worked on was Boundary Street, and that was the show that opened the State Theatre. My primary task is to facilitate the head-to-toe visual identity of character within a piece of theatre, and I do that in collaboration with the designer to facilitate how those characters are going to look, be it by building costumes from scratch for people or by sourcing and hiring garments for them. Up until the time that COVID started to impact us, we were working on Cherry Orchard because we were going to go into rehearsals for that. Had to stop working on that because we weren't going to be able to go into face-to-face rehearsals, but it did allow us to think about how we might be able to facilitate Unsung Heroes, because we would have a larger window of time to perhaps look at costuming that and do a fuller build on it. It has been challenging though, because we haven't been able to do physical fittings in the way that we would normally be able to do. So that has made it more difficult because we've had to take photographs and make adjustments from photographs rather than physically have hands-on. But it has allowed us a bigger window of time to really facilitate costumes in a way that we would like to do. A number of the plays within these 6 monologues are actually representing people that have actually lived or are living, and so that plays into how we've represented people within those pieces. Not wholly, because we still use some artistic license with that, but we do want to represent people as closely to how they actually looked. One of the most challenging elements really was to work on Perfect Boy, which is about Effie Fellows, and that had a number of costume changes within it. We don't want to shy away from the fact that we're still doing a theatre piece, even though we're putting it for film, so we're being unapologetic about the fact that it is still theatre. So we're not trying to hide any of the little tricks that we use when we're costuming. So for instance, when we put Effie into her tail suit, which we've had to make for her, we've also tricked up things like the winged collar shirt that she wears underneath and the bow tie and the waistcoat. So they're all mounted together so that can go on quickly, and the sleeves are sewn into the tailcoat. Jo starts off in a robe, is actually in this robe for most of the play, and she's talking about Georgia Prado, which is the play is based around her life and her experiences of domestic abuse. She is in the robe, and then towards the end she changes into an elegant silk dress. With Mararo, I wanted to work very closely with him and get that look right, because the story is of a humble musician who started off playing a guitar that he made out of oil cans and ended up playing with a band that he had idolised as a teenager, and he became a very successful musician. Mararo felt that it would be, a casual chino and a shirt that was collarless and quite simple in styling. I wanted to bring some colour into it, and I had a number of barley cottons that were my own fabrics. I allowed him to choose the colours that he particularly liked, so we ended up with a really vibrant blue, which looks beautiful on screen. Chris is telling the story of his grandmother's life, and we wanted to link him in with his Italian heritage, and we decided to make his silhouette look as if he was placed sort of mid-20th century, so a high-waisted pant and a very sort of soft informal shirt. We used linen fabrics in both those garments, in the shirt and the trousers, and I thought it was very important to keep that theme of linen within the costume, or realise it with the costume, as it's a very important theme through the piece of writing. There's a lot of reference for Alida Lancy, and it was very obvious that she likes her clothes and she likes her look, and so we kept true to the bright colours and prints for her, and the fact that she likes to wear a crossover sort of wrap style dress. You see that repeated in a lot of the photographs of her. She's got a very individual, she's a very confident woman, you know, she's not afraid to go out there and really wear those bold colours, and not power dress, which you might think somebody from her position would have done as a GP. They're all fun to work on, and I think it's important with every project to find something within them that you enjoy. I think particularly it's fun when you get to build things and you find the right fabric. I get very excited over particular fabrics, and I really enjoyed finding the pink quilted fabric for the dressing gown that Effie wears in the nursing home.